we launched Inspiring Minds with the thought of, also, working with current winners, past winners, steering committee members like yourself to talk about innovation. And the podcast, this has been really neat because obviously we want to know and hear about your experience with the Edison Awards, but you've come out with a new project with this new company that you have to actually fight what's going on in the current events, and so tell us a little bit about, what it is you're working on.
Sure. So I started as CEO at Task Force Tips just 7 working days ago. Okay. So
congratulations.
It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah.
And I worked at one of the sister companies, Hydrostop, that we talked about before. Mm-hmm. One of the things, the ideas of our parent company, Madison Industries, is to make the world safer, healthier, and more productive. And Larry Geese, our founder and chairman of the parent corporation, he tries to instill that and inspire us every day on what we do. And when I started here, I started getting the product orientation, and I saw that we had a system for decontaminating firefighters that have been in a fire, an active, working fire, and they're covered in soot and dirt and carcinogens. Sure. And they had a product that could rinse them off, and he used fire hose pressure and to do that. I said, is there a way that we could take some of this core technology, change it up so that it can be consumer ready, garden hose? And we went over to the director of R&D's house because he was under quarantine, and we sketched it out and developed it with a couple other guys and a couple of our key engineers here. And we said, we can take core technology that we have, change some orifices, some pressure, some inlets, some outlets, make it simpler, and make it consumer ready, and be able to put a disinfecting solution into the apparatus and allow for the mixing and the ratio mixing to occur. And so we were able to take 25 years of experience in technology and existing products and kind of reconfigure it all to be in a new application that could help us open up society, help us open up. And I don't know if you had a chance, Justin, to see the video on our website that we launched yesterday, but one of the challenges we've got is we're in the state of Indiana. We're located in Valparaiso, Indiana, where we have 250 employees. We've been doing this for 50 years, but Indiana's opening up. This county is opening up as of yesterday. And it's kind of a brave new world. Do I sit in this seat at the outdoor cafe? Do I grab a handle? If the kids' softball game's there, do I sit on these seats?
Yep.
The golf course is open up. Do I sit in the driver's seat of the golf cart? All these thoughts that you probably never even had before I sit down and drive, right? Now you got to think about it. And you got to think, did somebody disinfect this? Right. And so that was the genesis. We said, we have this technology. Let's leverage it over and see if we can do something quick and easy for a municipality or a hospital. They got to bring wheelchairs out, gurneys. You read on the news, Tyson and Smithfield, they're closing their plants. They got coronavirus going throughout, running rampant. How do they disinfect the gates and the entry and the areas where people work? And
you think about warehouses, and you think about Amazon, you think about some of these other companies that are involved, and not just about everyday life that kind of goes on behind the scenes in the supply chain that you never think about. So
even like hotels or the hospitality industry. You're at Disney World and the roller coaster comes up. How are you gonna sit down on it and put that over you? You're gonna think about it, right? You want that thing sanitized. So maybe this is an opportunity to wash it down real fast and allow it to go. Or
so how does it work? So tell me about the idea here. And you got a team that for a company that size that's been around for 50 years, sometimes it's not easy to pivot like this to create a whole new line of product. So I guess I'll ask you about that in a minute, but tell me how it works.
Yeah, so we stopped everything else, so we put everybody on it. Okay, and that's why we were able to turn this version of a core product around in 7 working days, and we've got thousands of them in production running through our plant because we think that there's going to be an opportunity for us to help the world and help society. So the way it works is, we've got this product, Clean Pack. Mm-hmm. you take a garden hose from your spigot, or the side of a Costco, shopping cart's a whole nother thing, right? I can tell you a story. There's a local, one of our key employees here. She contacted the local grocery store, and they're like, "We pay $1 a night per cart to be disinfected, per cart."
Yeah.
And we thought, well, geez, you can attach a garden hose in on one end.
And that's only once, and that's one time.
One time a day.
So that's like,
I know, it's crazy.
If you're the one at 6 a.m., hey, you're safe. You're safe.
But what about the guy at noon, right?
Right.
So maybe they could do it every hour, right? So they had a better system. They could do it every hour and keep people safer. So we've tried to make it simpler for that kind of application. So you take a garden hose with garden hose pressure and flows, attach it on this end, tighten it down. The flow comes through here. You can turn on there's a variable valve that opens and closes it. And then based on the sanitizer, and this is really where the key is, and we've applied for a patent on the nozzle and some of the mix, there's literally hundreds of EPA approved sanitizers, and each one of them has a different concentration. We've got a little grid here. It says if I want, 3 ounces per gallon, here's what I have to do, 3 ounces per gallon. You change this to 3 ounces per gallon, if that's what the sanitizing solution calls for. You pour the concentrate directly into the bucket. You take this lid off here. Water runs across the top based on this variable venturi, and an output hose that attaches to this nozzle. The hose comes out. It then pulls the right amount of liquid out through the outlet to meet what the manufacturer recommended for their disinfecting solution.
Yep.
So, bleach might be 10 to 1, whereas a Clorox solution or Clorox wipes or Lysol wipes has a different solution. Well, one of the reasons why we wanted to do this with a variable venturi system is so that we can open up the world to the hundreds of different sanitizing solutions that are out there. Because one of the challenges, and people said internally, why don't we partner up with one of the sanitizing companies? Sure. Well, the problem is, if you try to find Lysol wipes or anything like that, they're impossible to find right now. Yeah. Those people go through this EPA list. It's called the Type N, emerging viral pathogens and coronavirus. Anyway, it's EPA Type N. If you look at that, there's hundreds of them. And as you go through and you want to buy one, you go online, they're out. So you go to the next one, they're out. You go to the next one, they're out. Oh, you're available? Okay, that's the one I want. And it's got a different mix, right? So we wanted to be able to allow the consumer to be able to choose whatever they need. So that was one. And then two, different end markets have different sanitizing requirements. So if you're going into the pork producing plant, they need food grade sanitizer. And so that might be different than what you use for park equipment or a stadium where you have to spray down the seats. You don't need food grade sanitizer, you just need sanitizer. Yep. So all those have different costs, different requirements, and different mixes. So we wanted to make something that was general and that we could just go fast. And so if you
I'm thinking of it like almost like a deck cleaner, right? Like, or a pressure washer.
Exactly right. Or Miracle Grow, but they are a fixed concentrate dilution system. So, I need 10 to 1 ratio. It pulls it out. All the orifices are made to designed to give you that ratio, but try to do it variable. And that's where the challenge is. And so that's where the innovation is. And with our history of 50 years of firefighting experience and ISO 9000 plant and calibration stations and all these things, the infrastructure that we've got, we're able to allow for the right concentration that the manufacturer recommends. And that's twofold. One, how do you guarantee that the thing is sanitized, right? You have to soak it at the right concentration. But two, putting all these sanitizers in the environment is not necessarily a great thing. So you don't want to be pouring concentrate when you don't need to pour concentrate. Pour the right mix so that you're not.
So how do you? So with something like this, I mean, when you're dealing with a specific, sanitization or a specific concentration mix, right? Whether that be, like you said, Miracle Grow, or that be, pressure wash or whatever. Yeah. How do you? How have you gone about the testing to prove out this, hey, this one's a 3 to 1, this one's a 10 to 1. How have you gone about doing that? And then I guess the next question would be.
Let me answer that. And you think about the next question. So one of the things that we have internally, so there are two things. One, we watch all these videos of these sanitizing companies, either you're doing wipes, a little pressure tank with a tiny little sprayer, like if you're doing bug killer and you can only do a little area, and then you got to mix the tank, pre-mix it, not a concentrate. This is a concentrate. Those are slow systems. One of the things we wanted to make sure is that we could do it fast. And so to do it fast, you think about, the end consumer, we wanted to just have to be able to wear safety glasses and gloves and not have mist everywhere. So if you think about, I've seen these pressure washer systems where they've got a tank, like a mosquito squad with a tank on the back, and they're fogging everything. The guys using it have like a giant mask on, and they're like it's like a contagion. And, it's crazy. So we said we need to make it easy.
Larry's out there on Saturday morning,
Right. So we wanted to make it simple. We're a hose. You're not breathing in fumes from your water coming out of your hose. So we wanted big droplets that can cover a large area and have a mass decontamination system. And we wanted to make it very easy. So now get back to your question, how do we calibrate it? We have, and we're going to be launching a video later on this week about the calibration. So we have systems that we make all the time where we use eductors, where we pull, one of the firefighting methodologies is using foam. If it's an oil fire or whatever, you have to spray a certain amount of concentrate foam with water so you get this blanket. And it's a very precise mix. And so we are in the business of providing correct mixes through water dilution. And we have test tanks, PLCs, we've got gauge R&R, we've got technicians that work on that. We've got a whole calibrated lab, and every one of these products, when we were developing them, we calibrated them through the labs, the little orifice inside, to make sure that we are truly getting through a range of pressures that a hose outlet could provide, because in different parts of the country have different pressures. We have a system where we're in that range of what the manufacturer requires to make the right solution. So the key thing is, because this is a concentrate and not a premix, where you fill this with water up to here and then put a little bit in, you can then, as a concentrate, you can run this at the lowest concentration. You can run for 5 hours without refilling it.
Yeah.
So think about it. On the side of the Costco's, people are putting their carts away, spraying them off. Or the Disney World or Disneyland, where the roller coaster comes in, spraying it off every time, and you don't have to be stopping all the time to refill. And so that's part of the key of this. And that's where the innovation comes in. And that's what makes us different. And it makes it fast. I mean, you could decontaminate park equipment in 5 minutes.
Sure. So
I want that stuff decontaminated before my little kids go out and play on it.
So it seems, right, by all accounts, this is like, hey, home run, people adopting it. What kind of, feedback have you gotten, maybe that's negative, that you've had to kind of poke holes in, or
We're not getting a lot of negative feedback. So everybody we talk to wants one.
Sure.
And, we made 50 at the first batch. We sold the first 50 in 10 minutes.
Yep.
Okay? And for $649, the competitive products, these mosquito squad things, they're $1,500, $2,000, up to $15,000 for these trucks to do the same thing we're going to do for $649.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you're the grocery store paying $1 a cart every night at 100, 200 carts.
Yeah.
They have 200 carts at easy. That's $200. This pays back in 4 days, 3 days after you take into account the solution costs.
Yeah.
And you could do it 30 times a day. I mean, the feedback we're getting is absolutely, right on right now. And so that's why we put patents on this, and we put the right trademarks in. We're utilizing our existing technology, and we literally, we have 50 CNC machines. We are pivoting to have these run across our CNC machines. We're making thousands of them so that we can support what we believe will be the demand.
Yeah.
The world wants to open up, Justin. And
I'm in, so you're in Valparaiso. I sit just outside of Portland, Maine, and, we're even less populated than, those parts of Indiana. And that those fears are everywhere. Right. And then, with the Edison Awards, we deal with companies all over the world, and, this is a global pandemic. This isn't just a, regional or even a local, thing that's hitting communities. This is hitting everybody. And to your point, there is a lot of fear about not just opening up, but then what's the new normal? How do you, I oversee the rec department for our small town.
We need one of these, 649. cleanback.com.
Right. Mechanic Falls Rec, Maine, you send it right here. So, having a couple of those, I would imagine even for at that level,
Absolutely.
One, it just eases, parents' minds about, hey, am I sending my child out there? And the other thing is, there's to what you're saying is, there are so many applications for this to use in public settings. And, I got to believe that adoption is going to be, wild.
Well, it's interesting. I was talking to Frank Bonafilia, the leader of the Edison Awards, about this, and he said, "Oh my gosh, we're talking to this hotel about Edison Awards and the next ceremonies, et cetera." And he said, I was telling him about this product, and he said, "We need one of those because we have our outdoor pool area, and we've got to put these people don't feel comfortable laying on the chairs, so they keep sanitizing various areas and taping them off, saying these are sanitized and these aren't." And boy, wouldn't it make a big difference if that hotel could go out there every hour and in 5 minutes.
So, okay, let's ask. So in Edison Awards fashion, what people think about Edison is always innovation and research and development, where they forget. And one of the reasons I got excited about launching this podcast was to talk about what was his real passion. And people don't necessarily realize that was, he only built things and made things if he could sell them. And create a market for them. That was one of the things that Edison's quote is, hey, the true mark of innovation is if you can sell it. So tell us a little bit about, your thoughts. I mean, this right now, it seems so obvious. Hey, we're gonna meet this need, and people are gonna want it because it's a demand. But what is the thought behind some of the marketing and branding for it?
Okay, so again, we ideated this less than 7 working days ago, and we're making thousands of them. So we're fast, right? We're moving fast. We got a Facebook page for this. Mm-hmm. It's up. We have a website for it. The e-commerce site's not available yet, but it will be by Tuesday of next week. So May 12th, it'll be available. We are having an Amazon page where we're going to, or not page, but it's going to be listed on Amazon. That should be by the end of this week. We have our traditional distribution channels, all the firefighters, because they're in the municipal markets. We've got sister companies that deal with the medical industry. We're going through those markets. We've got a sister company, Hydrostop, which I used to be the CEO of, that is in the municipal water industry. So everything's going to be cleaned off before it gets used there. We are in discussions with some of the big distributors. Your Fastenal, Grangers, MSC, McMaster-Carrs, Zorro, American Hotel Register. We're going a number, because there's so many different facets where this can be used. Mm-hmm. We're working with local manufacturers. So there's a company up the street that makes equipment for the meat market food industry, and all these butcher shops and these large scale locations, trying to get those to partner with those to get in there. We've talked to some food service companies where they need to clean off the docks and the entryway for the food, for the food supply, so we don't have COVID-19 on the food supply. So we're going a myriad of directions and trying to get scale real fast on this, because we're humans living in America. We want to have the society open up as fast and safely as possible.
Absolutely.
We also have an international version of this, where we have international threads and adapters for those markets. Mm-hmm. Because they're, the U.S. garden hose isn't what's the garden hose in different parts of the world.
Sure.
And so we're adapting it for those pressures, flows, and not pressures and flows are about the same, but the garden hoses and the outlets and the threads, so that we can be used, anywhere.
That's exciting, man.
It is.
You must be like, coming to work. I mean, everybody looks, not only do you have a new role, but now to have this as a passion project as well, it's going to make every day really exciting.
It is exciting, and I go back to my experiences with the Edison Awards and the people I've met at various Edison Awards as part of being a judge and on the advisory or steering committee. And I'll tell you, the people that innovate, they're inspired by their innovation and the process of innovation. And they think it's fun, it's cool, and it's infectious, and it creates a buzz.
Yep.
And, markets are slowing down. People are out of work. 1 out of every 5 Americans is out of work. And I think I saw it on CNN, 60% of Americans are either cut pay, cut benefits, furloughed, reduced hours. Part of this is in some ways self-serving. We're not immune to that. and we want to keep our employees. We've worked hard to get really talented people. We've worked really hard to train those people and be passionate about the firefighting and fire service. We don't want to lose that. If we lay off or do something like that, we lose hundreds of years of experience in our building and our plant. And we want to do whatever we can to avoid that. And so a product like this could help us be counter-cyclical and give us a lift.
Sure.
And those 250 employees and their families and thousands of people affected that are directly, their livelihood comes from the company, comes from me, comes from, the founders, the McMillan family. I feel responsible, and I want to provide them something that allows them to keep their jobs and provide value and help society and make the world a better, safer, and healthier and more productive place. And that's truly what I believe in.
Well, it's a real inspiration, Chris. I mean, and to think about, this relationship here, the opening of the podcast talks about, walking with the true Thomas Edisons of the world today. And that's, how we envision, what your company's doing, the people, the neat thing about innovation and a company like yours, it's the people that make it so valuable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I could do a shout out to Kent Kakais, Bob Steingas, Aaron Rourke, Phil Gerace, these people stopped their lives. Laura Walker, Corey Mack. I mean, they stopped everything they're doing in their whole lives. And again, to go from nothing to this, and I'm sure I missed some people, but in 7 days, I mean,
sure.
We're making thousands of them.
Yep. And ramping up production. That's so neat. And you're in a community of Valparaiso that is brimming with opportunities too.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, I mean that's really exciting to see. Is there anything else you'd like to impart on our listeners today? And today we get the watchers. Our exciting guests that get to see you and I, have these discussions.
Well, the key thing for us is, we try to make this, what Thomas Edison did is he democratized electricity. He made electricity available, and then all the apparatus that was used around it, whether it be appliances, et cetera, light. We want to be able to democratize the sanitation systems of the world and the disinfection of different areas, whether you're, an ambulance driver or a stadium owner or a playground superintendent or a school operator or a hotel operator or food services. You've got a commercial kitchen, a food pantry, whatever you need to spray it down. We need to provide products that allows the world to be productive again and be back out there and feel safe and confident and allow the consumer to go out there and spend money to bring the economy back up and give jobs. And if we can do our little part because we have a disinfecting system for the masses, then I'm proud to do it. And our team here is proud to do it. So, I mean, we have ownership of this.
We're proud, from here at the Edison Awards, myself, proud to have the affiliation with you guys. If we can be a small part in, showcasing the new and exciting work that you're producing, then we're happy as well. And to see, this is what the community, I talk a lot to folks about the Edison Award community and what that means. And, where there's value as you go about each day, within the companies or the work that you're doing. And, this is it, right? I mean,
this is it. This is where the rubber hits the road, right? How do we make society better? Well, sometimes it's a tank with a Venturi and sometimes it's that simple,
But it's clean-pack.com.
Yep.
And available for order with the new website on May 12th. We're really excited about that. We'll make sure that goes out.
Justin, you can actually order it right now, but you have to phone in an order. So
okay, yeah, I saw that. You got the email, right? You can
it's just so. I mean, we're just not our business to do that fast. But again, by the end of this week, we'll be on Amazon. Yep. You'll order it, and it'll work great. So
fantastic. Well, Chris, I really appreciate you being on this, the first video cast of the Inspiring Minds podcast. So this is fantastic.
Good seeing you again, Justin.
Likewise, appreciate you being my guest, and for everybody else, until next time.
All right, thanks.